All righty, Chris, take it away.
Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. Good morning to every one of you. How you guys doing? All right. Hey, Jeff, how you doing over there? Can you hear me okay?
I'm doing awesome. That's the only way you can be.
Yes, awesome. Well, I wanted to bring to the table here someone that I've known for basically the majority of my career. He's been a mentor to me. He's been the person that's, helped me grow within this company, and he's the one I look up to. He is the broker and operating principal of Keller Williams, OC Coastal in San Clemente. He's also the managing broker for Keller Williams in Lake Forest, and he's also an investor with Keller Williams La Jolla. He's been doing real estate for, I want to say, the dawn of time, but how long is it, Jeff? How's it been?
I think since the gold rush days.
There you go.
1986.
1986. There's not been a question I've ever come across Jeff where he wasn't able to answer or find within a 24-hour span. He's been very helpful in my growth in my career with Keller Williams, and I'm very proud to have him here on this call today. And hopefully, he can give some insights to you guys that will, help you guys grow your businesses too. So whenever you guys are ready, Jeff, are you ready to get started with a couple of questions I put together?
Well, Jeff's never ready.
Oh, well, he's gonna.
But I'll do it anyway.
Well, all right. So let's do this. Let's start with this. Can you provide a brief overview for the crowd of, your experience, expertise in the real estate industry?
Well, my first real estate sale was when I was in about 20s. I was in college, and I was selling graves door to door.
Graves.
It was real estate, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember, a man who cares prepares. And so
I like that.
Many years later, before I got into this business, and I thought myself, if I can sell graves to people who aren't dead yet, I certainly can sell homes to people who are alive and want to move. So it was an easy transition. I did a lot of jobs before. I have my undergraduate degree in college was in accounting and finance. I worked for an accounting firm, hated it, but it did help me. It did help me in this business. And then I got an MBA in marketing and finance. And I worked in a lot of jobs before I got to where I am. But when I decided to go into real estate, I decided I want to be a lender. I didn't want to be a lender. I became a lender first for the purpose of learning it. That was back in before the days we had computer algorithms and all this stuff where you had to qualify people. So I learned how to qualify people, and I learned that I didn't want to be in the service industry to realtors because I hated dealing with realtors because they were rude to me when I used to call on them. But I did learn from some of them who were open. That's why I always try to help people. And I learned that if I want to really succeed in real estate, I have to be a listing agent. But I did learn if that's not your DNA, you can still succeed being a buyer's agent, but you got to be really good at it and really focused at it. And so I started thinking about that. And I said, I see the point of being a listing agent because you have a contract and everything else. But I don't want to give up 50% of the business. So I decided to be good at both. And so what I learned is that I learned all about farming. And I've done over 3,000 sales. I don't sell like that now because I'm old and I don't go knocking on doors anymore. But I was out knocking on doors every single day for 2 years, maybe 3. I dedicated 2 years. I think it was like 2 years. And I said, this 2 years, I'm not going to take a vacation. I'm just going to establish my business. The vacations will come later. I'm not suggesting anybody do that, but it's just the dedication I had. And there was no reason I should be successful. First of all, I'm extremely shy. I get nervous even today when I go and have to meet an appointment. It scares me, but I just get over it. So knocking on doors was the craziest thing I ever thought we'd be doing. But I overcame it because I knew what it had to be. I had to dominate the market. I also shouldn't have been successful because everybody who was successful in the area I was at, most of them were raised here. I was from out of state. I didn't know anybody. So everything was against me. And I just said, well, I'm competitive. I'm just going to overcome. So I just started knocking on doors, and then people started talking to me. And I said, oh, this is weird. And I just started listing homes. And I started like in July of 1986. And by the end of the year, I think I closed 9 sales,
Wow.
because you started off at 0. And then it went up to like, I don't know, 25 or 30 sales. Then it went up to over 50 sales. Then when it started going to 100 sales.
That's
And I
awesome.
didn't do anything except talk to people. And basically I figured out the business is we're in the appointment setting business. That's it. That's all I did. Yeah. But I also decided you have to decide what I'm good at, because if I want to work both sides, that I found that I'm really, really, really good in talking to people, even though I didn't like it. And I found, so farming was my thing. But then I found I was really good at open houses. And I found I was really good at for sale by owners. I wasn't very good at expired listings until on the phone. I don't have a good phone voice, and I don't come across well on the phone. They don't see my sense of humor on the phone. They just think I'm a smartass. And so I started doing expired listings, especially in my farm. In the farm area, I definitely did well there. But then I started expanding it. I just talked, but I knocked on the doors. I didn't call them. Once I met them, I called. And so, and remember, this was the days before the internet. So, and we didn't have all the data that you guys have now. I mean, it's much easier now. You got all this data. We had books, and the books were out of date the day you got them. So, but what I did is, when I did expire for sale by owners, I'd use an index card system. I'd write down, because we had newspapers then, and I'd cut out their ads, and every day I'd look at the paper, and sometimes they would change a word, and I called them, and I would call them and say, John, that's awesome. I think putting a comma there instead of a period, I think that's going to make the difference. I hope you sell it today. And then on weekends,
definitely,
I would work about 20 FSBOs at a time. And on weekends, I would drive by. I put my card. Remember, we didn't have GPS systems, so I had to put my cards in order to get there with instructions of how to find these houses, because I'd get lost. And I'd go there every weekend. Before I went home, I would hit 10 on Saturday, 10 on Sunday before I went home, and I would just talk to the people. And I had a system, and a lot of them listed with me eventually, because I was always there. They thought I was crazy, but I was always there.
Yeah. In fact, Jeff, I used an example of you last week when Simon was interviewing me about, just the consistency of, just showing up with your farm, and how there's one point where you parked your car. I think it was like, so consistently, where some lady eventually saw you and came out and says, hey, you're that realtor guy, and decided, she wanted to talk to you about listing her home. I think you
Right.
told me. Yeah.
One guy thought I lived next to him. I didn't. I just parked there a lot. I had a sign on my car. One guy, it was really scary. I was driving home. I lived in the farm too, but I was driving home. It was just getting dark. Guy's flashing his lights, beeping his horn. I said, "God, was this guy going to mug me? I don't know what's going on." So he pulled to the side of me. I put my window down. He goes, "Hey Jeff, can you come by my house and list it tomorrow?" I said,
Wow.
"Sure. What's your address?" And can I get your name? Because I can barely see you. Can I get your name and phone number? He gave it to me and listed his house. So the key to that was becoming a celebrity in your neighborhood. People knew who I was. I started with one neighborhood, about 300 homes. I eventually had 2,000 homes. And I had about a 60% market share. Not anymore, but so they definitely knew me. And what I did is I had a sign on my car, magnets, and I would park in strategic spots when I was walking a neighborhood. And then I'd walk up the street partway, maybe halfway, come back down, move my car. And one lady said, "You dropped a notepad," because if they're not home, I dropped, otherwise I knocked. And she says, "I saw the notepad, so I knew you're in the neighborhood." And she came driving all the streets to find me, again, to ask me to list her house.
Wow.
That's when you know you're making progress.
Yeah, for
But it
sure.
took a while. It didn't happen overnight. And I even had one competitor. I was walking up the street. I was like on the right side going uphill. He's on the left side coming downhill. He crossed the street in his car to come on the side he was on and just said, just so you know, I'm going to bury you and put you out of business. You don't deserve to do business here. So I just thanked him for taking his time to talk to me. Why would you do that? It just made me more competitive. And he eventually went out of business and I was still here. So it's like, why would you do that? You know?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I never wish anybody bad. I would never go to somebody and say, I hope you fail. You know, I hope everybody does well because if they do well, I do well.
Yeah,
And if you
absolutely.
think positive, good things happen. I'll never forget that guy.
And I'm one of many success stories of Jeff. So thanks to him, I've grown my real estate career because of him. Now, with that being said, I'm sure some of the people on here, Jeff, and I appreciate those stories. When it comes to keeping your clients informed, with the latest market trends and impacting the buyers and sellers depending on the economic climate. Like, what do you do to stay informed and to keep them informed?
Well, to keep them informed, in all honesty, I lost most of my database. So it's like almost like starting over. But the ones I do have, I send them an update twice a month, just a general Orange County update. I just label it. I don't print it. I don't write it. And so that keeps my name in front of them. But as far as what's going on, I read articles, see what's going on, study the market, try to keep up what's going on my farm, and just pass the information on as I'm talking to people. But in the early days, I don't preview anymore. But in the early days, I would look at 5 homes every day. And then about 20 or 30 on Wednesday, which was our preview day. So I knew the inventory. So if I was talking to somebody at an open house and they didn't like that area, and we talk about, well, what do you like? What are you looking for? And it might not even been in that part of town. I said, I happened to have seen a house yesterday. Would you like to see it when I get finished here tonight? Because I knew the inventory. And I knew the stats. And I knew where the market was going up or down. And I kept track of it. Back in the day, I kept track of it on paper. Now I can just look it up in a computer. And if the market sucks, I'm not going to tell them the market sucks, but I'm not going to tell them it's a booming market either. I'm going to be transparent with them. But here's my philosophy. There's never a bad time to buy a house.
Yeah.
No matter what the market is, there's never a bad time to buy a house. The best time to buy a house is when you need a house. Is your family going to stop growing because the market's down? No. If you have a 1-bedroom condo and you got 3 kids and you got to work out of the house, you probably need to move. So what difference does it make? And people say they're afraid of the market. I said, what are you afraid of? Well, the interest rates are high. Well, they'll eventually go down. The reason why do you want to buy a house? And when they talk about it, says, well, the reason to buy a house, especially first-time buyers, is to get in the housing market.
Yeah.
Stop paying the house for your landlord and to lock in your cost of living. In the long run, houses go up, approximately 7% a year, or whatever it is, on the average, or maybe it's 4% a year, but whatever, it goes up. They might go down for a year or two, but they go up. So why don't you lock in today's price? The interest rate will eventually come down, but you still got today's price locked in.
Yeah.
Some of them buy that story, some don't, But the thing is, whenever I talk to people, I just try to answer their questions. I don't go in with the attitude of how the market is or what it's doing. I just ask them. I just talk to them and see it. Sometimes they don't want to talk about real estate. Sometimes they do. So I just try to keep people informed. And I used to mail out. When I got started, people heard from me 6 times a month. Not anymore, but 6 times a month. That's how I got started.
Okay.
Probably twice in person, 4 times by mail or notepad or whatever.
And it definitely helped your business grow, I see. Now, when it comes to that approach, what else do you do when it comes to, your marketing, aside from, being out there and being the celebrity of your neighborhood and promoting the properties to even attract, potential buyers when you have a listing?
What I do, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
I have trouble with the headset.
No worries. When it comes
But
to
now now I can tell my wife it's really time to get the new computer.
well, when it comes down to the process of marketing, aside from going out there and being the celebrity of your neighborhood, what else do you do for marketing and promoting the properties that you have on as a listing to attract potential buyers?
You know what? I don't worry about that.
Okay.
My attitude's been there's a lot of marketing stuff, but I'm old. I don't understand the whole Facebook thing. I mean, I know how to use stuff, but it doesn't mean I do it. I mean, I use the technology that I have to use, but I don't really market for buyers. They just come. My listings, with all the stuff that goes out between the MOS, Zillow, Redfin, billboards, the signs to me are billboards. People find me. Yeah. And I make sure my phone numbers and everything, although we just found out we've been mailing things for a couple of months and forgot to put the phone number on it. Yeah,
no.
little things. Little things, it happens,
Well, it shows, the
but in reality, getting listings attracts the buyers. I don't need to farm for buyers.
Yeah.
And then the buyers many of them become lifelong clients and buy multiple properties with me. So I spend my time just getting people. And you know what? In reality, in today's marketplace and today's technology, you don't have to spend the money that we used to spend to market homes, because it's out there. We don't control the data anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of people worry about AI and worry about them not needing us because they know the inventory and stuff. But that's not correct. It's correct that they know the stuff. They don't need us to find a house. I find 90% of my buyers find their own house. I'm just their guide. And get them through the speed bumps.
So when you go through that process, what do you do to handle, negotiations on behalf of the client? And, what are your communication styles, and how frequently do you talk to your clients to update them on?
Well, my communication style is I like to talk to them and not text them. Okay. I text if I have to, but sure. Plus it takes me forever to text. I got big fat thumbs and fingers, but it takes me forever. But so I communicate as something happens, and when I meet them, I first find out what's their communication style. I have to model their communication style. How often do you want to talk to me? I really like the client who says, "Never call me, never email me. Just tell me if you got a buyer for my house, or tell me if I need to know something." I love that. I love that person. But anyways, so everyone's different. There are no two people the same. When things are going on, I tell them. Now, will I tell a buyer or seller everything? I'm very transparent, but I don't need to upset them about things that I can usually fix.
Sure.
And how do you? I try not to tell them how the other person's a jerk, because then they just get upset. I try to just tell them how we fix things and don't editorialize on it. But I keep them well informed of the transaction, what's going on, and also that part's easy when you're in escrow.
Yeah.
The hard part is when you have an overpriced listing, and how do you communicate that? And the key is you got to get them to trust you. Yeah. And then trust you. And then you set it up from day one. Like I have one now, and I said to the people right away, well, I listed it before I saw it. I do that a lot. And we put in price to be determined. And I had to see it because we had a tenant in there. Then I gave them a range. And then when I saw it, I said, we're probably still in the range, but I'm not sure we're going to the higher end of the range now because it doesn't show very well. And I said, but we can try that. But I'll let you know if it's not working. If it works, I think it's wonderful. And then awesome. It's the only listing I've had in the first week. We had no phone calls. So I told him last weekend, I said, look, I'm never going to judge a home by 1 week, but we had no phone calls. That's very unusual. The odds are we're overpriced, but let's not panic yet. Let's wait 1 more week, and then we'll talk about it if nothing else happens. So the other day she texted me and said, "Is it time to change the price?" See, you kind of set it up where it's their idea. Now they don't get mad. So I just said to him, we'll wait through this weekend, and if nothing happens, we'll discuss the price on Monday. So I try to find out what they're thinking. And, and because everybody wants to get to this, well, everybody's finish line's a little different. But when I interview them, I try to find out what they want to accomplish. Sometimes time is more valuable than money. It just depends. And then I try to keep my conversations always geared to that goal.
Yeah.
Like these people said, I just don't want to be a landlord anymore. Okay, well, that's different than the guy who says, I'm going to sell it if I can get a top price, right? You have to talk to them differently. The key is you always got to be transparent and never lie to them. Because if you lie to them, you're going to get caught in your lies because you can't remember what you said.
Yeah.
Unless you keep copious notes of your lies.
Which you don't want to do.
Yeah. I have trouble remembering yesterday.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to ask one last question here, and then I'm going to open up the chat to allow people to ask questions and so forth. But, overall, for the years that you've been doing this and, having the team that you have and, what do you enjoy most about being a realtor and business owner, and, what drives your passion for this industry?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't still be doing this if I didn't like it. And as people say, most people my age are dead. So they say, why do you keep working? I said, because it's not work.
Yeah.
I don't let it stress me. Nothing, this crap doesn't stress me. It doesn't stress me. I never have a bad year, bad month, bad week, or bad day. I may have a bad moment. I get over it. So nothing stresses me. And there's a couple things I like. I like helping people. So I like helping them accomplish their goals. That's what keeps me going. What doesn't keep me going is the money. First of all, I don't need more money, but I like having it. But selling homes is not what makes you wealthy. I'm going to give you this tip, guys. Selling homes isn't what makes you wealthy. Selling homes to help you buy homes makes you wealthy. Most wealthy people have a part of their portfolios is real estate. It may be a single family homes, it may be duplexes, it may be commercial, whatever it is. And so to me, I treat this, it's just fun. And the more people I help, the happier I am. And I never look at how much I'm being paid, because here's the deal. The person with who needs to spend $300,000 has that money's as dear to them as the people who want to spend or have a $2 million home. I treat them the same. I just treat them the same. I never look at how much money I'm making. I never look at or how much money I could make. I just look at, can I help this people? I will walk away if I can't help somebody. And I'll tell them the truth. I don't think I can help you. And then sometimes they still want to work with me and they change their goals, but sometimes they don't. But if I can help them, I'm happy. And then the money takes care of itself. That's just a scorecard. And I don't get to keep it anyways. I'm Uber check. When I get a check, I Uber it home to my wife. I never see it again. So then I have to ask her if I need some money. So I learned I carry very little cash. I just carry a credit card. I don't have to ask anymore.
Well, I love it. And Jeff, that was a great response. And, I've seen the level of integrity, and, he's, I'm one of the people that he's shown that to, and I very much appreciate your style. So thank you. So I want to,
even though you were in the Navy and
oh my gosh,
you crashed the ship. Yeah, right. I understand.
Well, we know the Army. Okay, we're not going to get into that. So, so if anyone has any questions for Jeff, we're going to open this time up to ask him some questions to this old Army guy.
I'm pretty open. I'm an open book.
Jeff, I have a question for you. You have such an extensive background in leadership, and how did you make that transition from being but being an agent to deciding that, being an owner and in leadership was right for you?
It just became a natural transition. I went to get an MBA at Northwestern for a reason. So, and it wasn't to work for people, but I worked for big companies and got out of it. And it just became a thing. Eventually, it took a long time before I came to Keller Williams, and they offered me, actually, they asked me to join before we had a market center, but for health reasons, the timing wasn't right. And eventually was right. And so they offered me a few shares. I got them. And then eventually stuff happened. And the OP decided to, he's still in our office, but he decided he didn't want to do that anymore. So they asked me if I wanted to do it. And I ended up getting more shares, and I became the dominant shareholder there. It just happened over time, but I was still selling homes. And then I decided, probably if I'm going to do this, I probably should be the broker too, since I got my broker's license, because the broker didn't want to do it anymore. So that just kind of happened. But then because I was around all the time and I was helping people, the other opportunities just opened up to me. And it opened up where I knew Dan, who got the Lake Forest office, and he asked me if I want to come in as one of the controlling principals. I'm not the OP there. And I said, yes, if I can be the broker too. And so I became the broker and a controlling principal in Lake Forest. I have an interest in a market center that I just knew was going to become available. I got a small interest. I'm not going to say the market center's name, although if Jennifer was on here, she would know. That's how I met Jennifer. But both of us.
I'm here now.
Oh, you are there. Okay. And both of us made the mistake by getting involved with that market center. So we won't mention the name, but it led me to know what I don't want. And then all of a sudden something came up in I told the region I'm interested in something else, and they put me with a great partner, a fantastic partner, Brady Sandall, if you know him, the luxury guy. Yeah. And he's smarter than I am. So I don't know why he brought me in on this thing. And so but La Jolla became available. We learned by other mistakes, and so he and I bought La Jolla, and he let me be the operating partner and the broker there. We have, and we split, because he's not as involved day to day, and I just let him know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, the Keller Williams Expansion Network came along. And I said, I raised my hand. I said, there's no way they're going to choose me. I mean, the last guy they would choose, right? And all of a sudden they thought, well, okay, who's the dumbest guy we know and doesn't know any better? And I became the broker for the state. So it just kind of happened. And it was at good times in my life. And so, and now, so I don't have the big team anymore, but I still sell mostly referrals now. And a couple of years ago, I did $50 million of referrals. And last year I did like 25. This year I'll do about 20, but it's fine, but it's just referrals from old clients and agents who are referring me. But the ownership thing is great, because Keller Williams gives you that opportunity. Yeah. I think they have what they call an opportunity map. Chris probably knows what that is.
Absolutely.
I haven't. I couldn't tell you everything that's on it, but it's like 50 different things.
I'll send it to you.
And I've been blessed that I can't believe it, but I've been blessed that they let me do some of these things, and so I took advantage of it.
Awesome. And I know, Simon, you had a question too.
Yeah, Jeff. Thank you for sharing wealth of knowledge. Thank you. Can you share with us one success, either as an owner, as a real estate broker, or as a broker in compliance running a market center, one success that you can share?
Oh,
you stumped him.
I don't know. I just can't think of anything, but I can't say that when I took over the San Clemente Market Center, they were a successful market center. They were a top 5 market center in the region, and I took it over. It was about in the bottom 3. So we just turned it around. We just changed the culture. One of Chris's friends kind of ruined our market center. Yeah.
Old friends, prior friends. Yeah,
no prior friend. Yeah,
we don't talk about him.
I inherited him, and he just totally blew up the market center. But anyways. but but I think really my most success is really helping people when they were in trouble. Whether it be an agent or I did hundreds of short sales back in the day. And a lot of people don't like you when they're selling their home not for a happy reason. But many of them thanked me many months later because their life became better when they listened, and we got them out of the problem they were in. They were over their head in debt. They lost their jobs, whatever. But then that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is what it does to your family when that happens. And when we were able to get them out of that, they were able to get their lives established again. Their family life became better. That I'm more proud of than anything else. And I really love helping first-time buyers because they thank you. I love to see. Did you ever see a guy come on? He's on his 10th house. He doesn't give a damn. You're just a commodity to him. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the stress that you go under trying to keep this deal together because he's an idiot, and he messes up everything he touches. They don't appreciate it. First-time buyers, they love you. They love you. And now I'm working on second and third generation clients where their parents said, you got to work with Jeff.
That's awesome.
Those are the things I count as successes.
Yeah.
And then not having my wife yell at me. Any day that she doesn't yell at me is a good day. But all honesty, for my success, I'm going to credit her. When we got married, it took me 9 years before we got married. We dated for 9 years. And she kept her mouth shut then. Oh, she had to keep her mouth shut anymore once we got married. And she said to me, you're pretty successful at what you do. You sell a lot of houses. I said, yeah. I said, and you make people a lot of money, right? I said, yeah. I said, why do you do that? I said, because I love helping people. And she said, maybe once in a while you should help yourself. So and I said, what does that look like? I know now. She tells me what houses we're going to buy. I say no, and we buy them anyways. And we made money on all of them except 2. And I never get to choose a house. But basically, she got me to start investing in real estate. And if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be successful now. Would I keep working? I don't know. You never know what would have happened if you didn't do something. You just know what has happened since you did it. So all I can tell you is, even though she bosses me around, she's best person for my whole life that I ever met. And she made me successful.
I love that. And I have to add to that. He just said something, you're never going to know what happens unless you do it. And when he asked me to be the team leader, when he took over, that's exactly what you said to me, because I didn't know if I was going to succeed or fail. And that was one of my biggest challenges. And you said, you're not going to know unless you do it. And we did it and we turned it around, And
you know what? There is no such thing as failure. I think Thomas Edison, something like, before I invented a light bulb or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I had 10,000 things that didn't work out. I mean, I did not fail 10,000 times. It just told me 10,000 things that don't work.
Right.
And nobody who's successful never had a failure. The key to being successful is not how many times you fail, it's how many times you get up and you don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
And to be successful, you have to take a little bit of a risk once in a while. Now, you do red light, green light. I never can remember if it's green light, red light, or red light, green light. But anyways, you don't put all your money into one basket. You do a little bit at a time, and you learn when to say no, that it's not working. So you do experiment and do things, but you can't be successful if you have never failed.
Yeah.
It's just getting up. And I learned that in a different way when I was in college. And I had to take this class twice. Once as an undergraduate, once as a graduate. I hated it both times. Business statistics. And they had an example of running a hot dog factory. Basically, you got some meat in there, and I think you got also a lot of sweepings from the floor. Anything they can put in a hot dog, they'll put in a hot dog, right? It doesn't make any difference. And they were talking about this, that So you have certain rules that the Food Administration says you have to have, to do things. So if you're real conservative on that, it's going to cost you a lot of money because but if you approach the edge there, you're going to get fined once in a while. I mean, I don't take this wrong that you do things to get fined. But you got to approach the edge in order to be successful because otherwise you're throwing money out. So I took that in a different way, that you got to experiment sometimes because you don't know what you're good at until you try it.
Yep. 100%.
But if you don't try it, you may be leaving opportunities by the wayside, could cost you millions of dollars. So you have to try to think, I do believe in the Peter principle. Everybody, you're going to get to a point where you don't succeed, but I also believe you can break through that ceiling.
Yeah.
But you're never going to know where that point is if you don't keep moving forward. And that's what keeps me going. What new challenge can we do?
And I'm living proof of that. So thank you for that. That's something that, I had to experience firsthand.
I still don't know how your girlfriend stays with you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Do for you.
I'm still figuring it out myself. But with that being said, was there any other questions?
You were taking a risk asking me with a guy with no filter.
That is very true. But you know what? This is what made it candid and fun. So, I really appreciate, you coming on this early in the morning on a Friday and taking the time to share some, awesome, exciting things. And, if you guys want to reach out to Jeff.
And if you would have done this at a little later time, I would have done it from my real office, and I wouldn't have had this hearing problem.
It's fine. We're looking at Tiger Woods in the background. You got a good setup. So, and you look quite funny with those headphones.
Yeah, I got Tiger back
there. We'll take the comedy.
I got Tiger, I got Sandy, and I got the M&M boys.
Yeah. Perfect.
They're all successful. Tiger.
That's open to interpretation. But Jeff, I appreciate you so very, very much for everything you've done for me, for even coming on today to show your support for what we're doing here, and getting.
I'll do anything for Jennifer.
Not me, Jennifer. Yeah,
Jennifer. I'll do almost anything for you, but I'll do anything for her.
I appreciate that. You're the best, Jeff. See, you're amazing. I couldn't be more proud to have you in my life and to have guided me through.
I appreciate you guys. And if anything I do any of you guys, you just call. Chris has my number.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, Jeff, maybe you could, or Chris, you can throw Jeff's information in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and do that right now. I'll give him you okay if I give him your cell phone number, Jeff?
Sure.
Simon's like, send all broker questions now to Jeff.
It's leveraged.
Yeah, well, if you ever need a broker, who knows? Jennifer may call me someday. Even though I don't know where the South Bay is.
Oh no. And then I'll also attach the email address for you as well, just in case you guys have any questions you want to email him with. So it's going to be.
But if you do call me, you got to tell me what office you're from, because I don't know. I can't remember everybody's name from the offices that I do run.
Well, Jeff, thank you so very much again. I really appreciate you, and this has been fun.
Take care, guys. I wish you the best. Have a great year. I wish you success to everybody. Everybody can be successful.
Thank you.
I love it. All
Take
right.
care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate all of you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.